Hey everyone, I'm Armor Gaming, welcome back to my channel, and welcome to a monster analysis on Rubellus, the newest and latest taunt monster. Rubellus was the king of the Mushroom Kingdom. They all lived in a cave and he earned his crown because he was the biggest and the strongest by far. For that reason, he never thought anyone would dare to question his authority until one day, he discovered that one of his subjects was planning a coup against him. He decided to punish him in a way no one would ever forget. He ate him whole in one bite. By doing so, he absorbed his victim's energy, but the mushroom flesh he ingested acted like a hallucinogen and made him paranoid. He started seeing traitors everywhere, and with every subject he believed to be a traitor, he repeated the same punishment. He ate them all. After some time, the inevitable happened. King Rubellus had no subjects left. All his allies in other nature kingdoms turned their back on this crazed ruler of none, horrified both by his brutal strength and by his story of cannibalism. Now Rubellus is insane and forsaken by everyone, but within he's got a is he the next Forsaken monster? But forsaken by everyone, but within he's got the physical power of his entire dead kingdom, and he'll go to any length to prove he's still the king. So once again, here we have Rubellus, and this is a monster analysis on this monster, who I guess to be the next nature Forsaken monster, basically because he ate his entire kingdom. That's quite a story, quite a Monster Legends lore. Still waiting for that adventure map where we go through the lore. So let's jump right into his stats, and we're going to talk with his life because that's the most intriguing thing about taunt monsters, about tanky monsters. He has a life stat of 44,335. In the nature category, this is the third highest life stat. Sergeant Hawhead still takes the number one spot with 46,144. Next up is Fatted with 45,239, and now we have this monster in third place. So, incredible life stat. His power is 3421. I don't really think that's worth mentioning considering he's not going to be dealing that much damage in terms of offense. His speed is 3399, which is kind of on the slow end. However, compared to the monsters I just mentioned, that's pretty fast. Sergeant Hawhead has a speed of 3201. Fatted is 3069. So 3399, that's actually pretty good for a tanky monster. And then let's talk about his traits. Considering he's one of the newer monsters, he has an evolving trait. So he starts the game off with Taunt. All single target attacks are going to be directed towards this monster. So think of using Brutalis. At rank 1 you get Nature Protection for your whole entire team, which I assume means you only take damage from nature based attacks, and considering you're a nature monster, you're taking 50% less damage. And I'm assuming this will run out after a certain amount of turns. However, it doesn't say Status Caster, which kind of means it's a permanent trait. I'm not sure about that. Speaking of Status Caster, at rank 3 you get Megatons, which would be incredible if you can actually get this monster to rank 3 to start the game off with Megatons, right? It's like bringing a Dunraw into the game. And then at rank 5 you get Abomination. You'll be unaffected by nightmares, by bleed, and more important, by possession, so you will not be able to get possessed. If you can get this monster fully ranked up, obviously that's the best use for him. Obviously he's also going to have a tier 4 skill, so it's going to be interesting to explore those. And in terms of relics, this monster can hold the double armor relics. Oh my goodness, double Thetis's armor, that is going to be tough to deal with. So even though this nature monster doesn't necessarily have the highest life stat, the fact that you can hold double armor, this might make him the tankiest monster. We also got to explore what skills he has. Maybe he'll have some healing skills considering he is a nature monster. Let's find out. So really quickly, in terms of books, he's in the Good Legions, Adventures, and Spirits. And can I just make a big fuss and commotion about the fact that this monster is in Good Legions? Did we not just read a Monster Legends lore where he ate his entire kingdom over and over and over again until there was no one left, and he scared all the other nature creatures so much that they kind of shunned him, being scared by his cannibalism, but somehow this monster is in the Good Legions, and Taiga, if you all remember Taiga, was put into Evil Legions? I do not understand. Okay, rant over. Let's get into the analysis. In tier 1 skills, I'm not even going to try to pronounce these names, I'm just going to go straight into the skills. 50% chance of applying poison to all enemies, not a fan. Bleeding Tooth, 50% chance of applying bleed to all enemies. Both of them are spammable, have no stamina cost, but not really a fan. Next up we have a skill that removes all negative effects from one ally, 1 turn cooldown, 21 stamina cost. Also not a fan. So far, tier 1, I am not liking it whatsoever. Moving on to tier 2 skills, we have a skill that deals heavy nature damage to an enemy, applies poison to all enemies. Okay. Huge step up, especially from what we've seen in tier 1. 1 turn cooldown, 20 stamina cost, 45 damage. We have a skill that does essentially the same but with bleeding. And then we have Turkey Tail, which removes all negative effects from our allies. So definitely worth running. It does have a steep 3-turn cooldown, which is kind of rare to see considering the effect, and it costs 20 stamina. Very interesting right now. So basically, Tier 2 is just an AoE version of Tier 1 with a higher likelihood of landing. I'm a little scared because I am not liking the monster skills at all right now. But let's see what else this monster has to offer. Deals low nature damage to all enemies, applies poison, applies daze. Okay, I like that skill more. So you'll poison all the enemy team, that'll reduce their damage output, and it'll reduce their HP. And then daze reduces damage output by 25%. So poison reduces damage output by 20%. And then you add in the daze, that's an extra 25. And daze also reduces accuracy. So I like this a lot because keep in mind you're a tank, you have taunt, you're absorbing damage. If you have a meta rank 1, you even have that nature protection. This will help you out a lot. Moving on, we have a skill that applies stun to one enemy and applies bleed to all enemies. So it's nice that this tank could also single deny, and you also bleed the enemy team. That's pretty good. 2-turn cooldown, 23 stamina cost. And lastly, we have a skill that applies Megaton to itself and Damage Mirror to itself. So I like that this monster has a Megaton skill. You know, last time we had a monster, who was it? Santarion. When Santarion got released, the other Forsaken tank, he was released, but he doesn't have a skill that can give himself Megatons. So unless you got him at rank 1, there would be no way to keep that Megatons once it was removed from the status caster. So it's nice that at the very least, this monster unranked can apply the Megatons. However, I would say the skill set is very, very, very underwhelming. Like, I'm really not a fan of it whatsoever. The most this monster can do is a stun, and granted nowadays that monsters have Harden, Bulwark, Tough, and what be it, you might not even land that stun, right? So then this monster just really has the poison and daze. You have an AoE bleed, and you have a skill that removes negative effects. So probably the best thing about this monster unranked is the fact that you can Megataunt, the fact that you can cleanse, and the fact that I guess you can single stun. But I gotta say, compared to the kind of monsters we've been seeing, this is very underwhelming actually. And unless you get this monster ranked up, you're not gonna be getting the rank 4 skills. So assuming you get this monster unranked, I would say for skill set, you want to go Chaga, the Megaton skill. You want to go with the stun skill. You want to go with Turkey Tail, the remove negative effects skill. And you probably want to go with the AoE Poison and Daze. So all of skills group 3 and Turkey Tail. I think that would be my recommendation for an unranked monster. In terms of usability unranked, I would say he's probably not going to be someone you use that often. You know, I think I'd rather go with Brutalis. Maybe, well, I guess they're different elements and everything, so it would depend on the scenario. But a little underwhelming right now, I'm going to say that. Let's see if he can get better with tier 4 skills, and maybe even with that area nature protection that just maybe takes him to the next level. Let's see. Lion's Mane. Blocks all damage except nature element to all allies. It applies a 30% life shield to all allies, requires cooldown. Yeah, so Lion's Mane is essentially like having the area nature protection. I guess it's cool that you can reapply it on 2-turn cooldown, 26 stamina cost. That's not bad at all. Definitely helps him a little more. Still feeling a little underwhelmed. Moving on, we have rank 2 skill. Removes all negative effects from itself, applies immunity to control to itself. So it's useful that you're not going to be able to get hit with control skills. Granted that just about every monster nowadays, if you read the skills of any attacker, any controller, they pretty much always say removes positive effects from the enemy, and then yada yada yada, right? Like Synapticus can remove positive effects and Mega Freeze, remove positive effects and freeze. So even though this monster can give yourself control immunity, you know, Dunraw does the same thing, right? It doesn't help too much. I wish this skill would have given yourself control immunity and then the Megataunt or something. I don't know. I'm still a little underwhelmed. Let's keep going. Angel Destroyer. This looks promising. This looks very promising. Deals moderate nature damage to all enemies. Applies poison to all enemies. Burn to all enemies. Nightmares to all enemies. Ah, that's more like it. You do 3 AoEs. 3 torture skills. Poison, burn, and nightmares. Against a Megaton monster, this wouldn't help because they would just absorb it all. And against a dodge area monster, this wouldn't help too much also because they would dodge. But nonetheless, it is a good skill. And at rank 3, you would also get your Megatons. So, being Megatons and having this, that would be awesome. Let's see the last skill, Death Cap. Deals very heavy special damage to an enemy, applies Mega Stun to one enemy, and applies Daze to an enemy, requires cooldown. So now you have a Mega Stun skill. I gotta say, overall, I'm not too impressed. Given the lore, given the Monster Legends lore, I was like, oh man, he's gonna have a skill where he like eats the enemy, instant kill or something. Maybe 50% chance to kill, you know, just given the lore. Maybe he can, like a Fatid, kills an ally, extra turn. I don't know. I was just expecting a little more. I'm a little disappointed right now. The ultimate, Gourmet, removes positive effects from all enemies. Okay, deals insane nature damage, 100% chance of killing itself. Whoa. I don't know if I like that. If this monster is a tank, he's probably not going to have a lot of power output. Even though it's 90 damage, and it's insane nature damage, the fact that he kills himself, I don't like that. And then it's not like you can hold a revival lesson, so let's say I was to use the alt, and I wipe out the enemy, and then I lose this monster, so I lose a coin. I don't know if I like this ultimate. Remove positive effects from enemies. And you know what, this is, only the ultimate removes positive effects, so all these other skills, they can't even do much. If I do face a Megaton monster, a monster that has evasion, a monster that has skill mirror, you know, all of my skills will be reflected or they'll miss. I'm not feeling this monster too much. I guess we're gonna have to wait and see till he's actually released. If you can get him to rank 1, maybe that area nature protection will definitely make him such a valid usable monster, right? Because if you have that area nature protection and you're absorbing single target attacks, and maybe you can set up Megatons, and then maybe you can protect positive effects so you don't get your nature protection removed. You can always reapply it with Lion's Mane. Maybe he becomes a very good tank monster that can just absorb a lot of damage, and maybe it's good that he has a low speed, so maybe there's a way to make him usable, but the way I see him right now, I am not the biggest fan of him. But yeah, guys, I love the name, I love the monster design from what I can see, but overall, I'm not feeding this monster too much, but that's just my opinion, that's just my analysis. Now I want to hear from all of you guys. What do you guys think about this new monster? Let me know in the comments below. Any thoughts, please let me know. I am super curious to hear if you guys have a different spin on this monster. Maybe it's some deadly combo I overlooked or something. Also, how do you guys feel about the fact that he's in good legions even though he ate his whole entire kingdom? Any thoughts in the comments below. Thank you very much, and I will see you all next time.